Animal Crossing is one of Nintendo's most successful franchises, with New Horizons being the second best-selling Nintendo Switch game to date. As a longtime fan of the series, I feel as though it has lost a little bit of its charm along the way. I decided to boot up the original for the GameCube in the big year of 2025 and play for 30 days to see if it holds up. So join me as we go back in time to revisit this wonderfully passive-aggressive little game. On day one, it all starts on a train when a character named Rover comes up to me and sits with me, whether I want him to or not, makes fun of me a little bit, and then begins to ask some intrusive questions. Remember, don't talk to strangers, click on weird links, and keep your hands visible, no sudden movement, and all that. I do remember though, childhood me really wanted to be his friend and to have him live in my town, so much so that I had made a second character to try to talk to him again. It's a bit strange that we actually have no idea or plan about where we'll be staying or what we'll be doing when we arrive in Damascus. Which, I don't know if that's a great idea when you go anywhere. Interestingly enough, all of the questions he asked actually decide what you look like. Eventually, I arrive in town broke and homeless, with a shirtless Mr. TomNook here to greet me, who also makes fun of me. Thankfully, he offers me one of 4 houses. House might be a bit generous. They seem more like a shed or a garage. It'll only cost me about 20,000 bells, which is roughly what the median home cost in the 1970s in the US was. So by that estimation, this is probably worth around $480,000 today in 2025. Unfortunately, I don't have that kind of money, so I'll just pull myself up by my bootstraps and work part-time during the summer to pay it off. Even better yet, TomNook offered me a job. Now, I don't really want to work for my shirtless, apron-wearing landlord, but beggars can't really be choosers here. For my first task, he wanted me to plant some flowers and trees around the shop to attract customers, which I totally did. Then I went and introduced myself to everyone in town. We got Hambo, Kiki, Monique, Rosie, Jeremiah, and Oxford. And they were all stoked to meet me. Along the way, I stopped at the police station and grabbed a few things I lost the last time I visited Damascus, including this dragon suit, which was a little bit of a letdown. I was hoping for something more, which made me think, why are the hats mandatory? And why do I have horns? Upon returning to the shop, TomNook was pissed at me for changing out of my uniform. Then did some deliveries for Nook and helped some of the other villagers out as their little errand boy. Hambo gave me an asteroid. That's a nuts housewarming gift, but cool, thanks. Cause can you imagine moving into a new house with no furniture and your friend is just like, I have the perfect gift, and showing up with something nuts like a grand piano and being like, oh yeah, I wanted to give you something practical. I may not have a bed to sleep in, but at least I have this. I sent a quick letter to Rosie to help advertise a special sale Nook has going on. Monique gave me a rug as a thank you for helping her out, so I won't be sleeping on the cold metal floor anymore. I had a quick chat with Rosie, who absolutely loved my letter, by the way. Seeing how successful my letter was, Nook had me do a little advertising for him on the bulletin board in the center of town. After all of that was said and done, I am no longer employed by Nook's granny. After 1 day's work, I paid off 1,400 bells, which really isn't all that bad if you think about it. Hopefully I can figure out a way to pay the rest off, so I don't get any of his raccoon goons sent after me. I decided to sell most of my belongings in order to buy a shovel and some paper, and just barely had enough for that. I wrapped up the rest of my first day digging up some fossils and some gyroids, whatever the fuck those things are. Oh, and I found 1,000 bells glowing and buried in the ground. Reflecting on day one here, I immediately noticed that the villagers are not nice. If they don't like you, they'll let you know. But honestly, that's part of the charm. It gives the town some personality, something I think New Horizons kind of lost, with its overly polite, copy-paste villagers who all feel safe. I was hit with a wave of nostalgia playing this for the first time in probably a decade and a half, at least, and I look forward to continuing. Also, this fucking guy gave me a moldy shirt like I'm some sort of idiot. Thanks, I guess? Back for day 2, and it looks like someone was excited to see me. But it was just my gyroid going crazy and had nothing new to tell me. I thought it might have some sort of information for me, but guess not. Also, side note, do I own this guy, girl, thing? Did it come with the house and he is now my servant or something? I don't know. I checked my mail and got a letter from the museum letting me know I can send them any fossils I find and they'll identify them for me. Classic scam mail, not falling for it. I decided to take a walk around town and chatted with Oxford, who threatened to release the hounds on me, so I kept pushing and then found a new house and villager, Biddy. Her first instinct was to make fun of my name, but after the 5 times it happened yesterday, I've already accepted that I'm just here to get bullied by everybody. I kindly let myself into her house, and it's pretty decked out already, and not what I was expecting. I thought it would be pink and frilly, like how she looks with her umbrella, but I was dead wrong. Swung by the dump right after, and found a sick, lightly used 8-ball t-shirt, and put it on immediately, no need to wash it. I didn't remember if money rocks were introduced in this game yet, and decided to take a stab at a random rock, and it was. but I royally fucked it up by digging holes near it and then panicked, missed like 3 times, and only walked away with 300 bells. Embarrassing. I'm not proud. I stopped in Nook's shop where he asked me to represent Damascus for the Happy Room Academy. I don't know. Seems like an HOA or something, and I don't really want random strangers coming into my house and judging it, especially not the state it's currently in. The only thing of note I have is an asteroid. Why not have Biddy? Her house looks way better than mine, and she moved in this morning. It seems way more promising. Begrudgingly, I agreed. How could I say no to that face? Sadly, he wasn't selling a fishing rod or a bug net today, which is a bit frustrating, so we'll have to check back again tomorrow. I remember as a kid, he just never had the fishing rod when I would play, so I went what must have been weeks without one. Meanwhile, a friend from school who had originally recommended the game to me kept telling me catching and selling fish was easy money, and it was the key to paying off your debt. He did have a hammock though, but I was literally 1 bell short. The floor will have to do, I guess. Ran into Kiki. Sweet girl. She begged me for a peach. But this is a Pear Town Kiki. Dream bigger. Back home, I tried a few different gyroids I found to see what they were all about. And listen to them babies purr. I decided to only keep this purple one and left it right in the front doorway to scare any intruders or maybe them HOA freaks. I ended up going back to Nook's shop to sell everything and caved and bought the hammock. The ground can't be good for my back, and a second shovel, which I immediately buried right about here. And finally, I mailed off 8 fossils to the museum. Hopefully they give me some 10s so I can turn a profit. Woke up to 3 fossils already returned in the mail. Pretty quick turnaround considering I just sent them out yesterday. But only 3? What happened to the other 5? I checked online and it turns out there is a daily limit of 3. Jeremiah stopped me and asked if I could go grab his glasses from Monique. No problem, I'll fetch them for you. Until I go to get them from her, and she gave them to Kiki. Not sure how you can give something you were borrowing away. Seems a little messed up, but sure. Kiki also gave them away, so now Oxford has them. This is getting ridiculous. And now I can't find him anywhere. This town is not that big. Where could he possibly be? So I put that saga on hold for now and stopped into Nook's. Big news. He has a bug net at last. No fishing rod, but we have something. He had a cactus too that I thought would tie my place together nicely, but I resisted for now in order to try and pay down my debt. I immediately put my net to use and started catching all of the different bugs I've been seeing around town. I contemplated for a bit if I should donate the bugs and fossils to the museum or just ignore it completely in favor of chipping away at my debt. I decided to be a good guy and donate the first of everything and try to complete the museum. I never actually have done it before, and I don't know if I'll be able to this time either, but I'll give it the old college try. I checked out my first donations, and I gotta say, it's charming, but when compared to the museum in New Horizons, it seems a little plain. I realized I hadn't paid attention to the wishing well yet, figured it might be important. It told me to check out Acre A4, because something was amiss. Sounds ominous. So I made my way over and didn't really see anything out of place until I started shaking some of the trees, and bags of bells fell out of a few of them. I'm not sure if that's what the well meant, but that's the only thing I could find. At long last, I tracked down Oxford, and he did have the glasses. I walked about 10 seconds over to him to return them, but also, you guys are literally next door. I just walked all over town for this, when Oxford could have tossed them from his house to Jeremiah. We got a big day today, so strap in. It's July 4th, also known as Independence Day in America. It's also a huge day for Nook's Cranny if you remember what was promised. Started off with a letter from the Happy Room Academy. They gave my house a score of 1,178 points. I don't know what metric they're using to score me on, maybe raw vibes or feng shui or something. That sounds pretty good, honestly. But forgive me, I'm not too familiar on how HOAs operate. Greeted a new villager, Eunice, by accidentally hitting her with my bug net, so not off to a great start with her. Luckily, there was a fishing rod for sale today, so really I didn't have to wait very long after all. Copper let me know that Katrina the fortune teller is coming into town today, so I'll have to be on the lookout for her. Meanwhile, Kiki and Oxford were beefing. I tried to talk to them about it, but there was no consoling them. I like that the villagers exist on their own here, without just being there to entertain you. Caught a pond skater, thought that was pretty cool. Then I stopped into the post office to mail off some fossils, and more importantly, pay off my debt to Nook in full. As a kid, I couldn't figure out how to pay it. I knew from my friend that when you paid it off, you would get a larger house and everything, but I couldn't figure out how to actually pay it. I'd assumed I would talk to Tom himself and hand over a fat sack of bells and shake hands like men, but that isn't really how the world works. like most kids, I mashed A through a lot of the dialogue when reading and talking to characters. Not only in this game, but every game, so I didn't notice the option to pay when mailing off letters. Back at school, he told me you paid at the post office. Great. I couldn't wait to get back home and boot the game up and get it done. But still, I struggled. For some reason, I looked at the e-reader machine and was like, oh duh, this is it. It wasn't. I must have thought this because it looked a bit like an ATM and money goes there, obviously. So just paying this first loan off was a huge struggle. I bought a jackhammer to celebrate this huge milestone. But wait, there's more. I'm back at night to check out the fireworks festival. I ran into the mayor, Tortimer, and he gave me a little bottle rocket to commemorate the occasion. Just check out the beautiful fireworks. Everyone in town is here to enjoy them. It was a cute moment. Funnily enough, in this game we can only see the reflection of them off of the water. Even Crazy Red is here, taking advantage of the festival and selling pinwheels. I bought two, the Tiger and Fancy pinwheel. I saw a fish and thought it was the perfect time to test out my new rod. The fireworks probably scared it away. And after trying to fish, I realized that it was a lot harder than I remembered it being. Either it was harder to fish in this game, or I'm just really bad at it. I did catch this carp in front of everyone though. And look who it is, Katrina. I stopped into her tent to get my fortune read for only 50 bells. I see a Triforce behind her, so I see she is a Legend of Zelda fan. As for the fortune itself, she pretty much just said, some good things might happen, and some bad things might happen. Thanks, Katrina. Super helpful. What a sham. Katrina's a fucking quack, dude. Honestly, I could have just ordered Chinese food and read the fortune cookie for the same result. My house got upgraded and is much more spacious. I took some time to reorganize everything and make better use of the extra room. More space for activities and whatnot. Someone left a nasty message on the bulletin board being pissed off about working during the fireworks show and missing it. This was definitely a misuse of the public board. This is supposed to be for serious and important matters only. The way I see it, the only two in town it could have been was either TomNook or Phyllis from the post office. They were the only ones working at that time. My money's on Phyllis. I talked to Tom, he didn't mention it, but let me know my new loan is nearly 150,000 bells. Sheesh, bro. If I knew it would be that much, I would have thought twice. This is highway robbery. Conveniently bought an axe today, for no particular reason. There was a camper visiting today, Goldie. They asked to play a game for the Apado torso I had. If I won, they'd pay for it. If I lost, they'd get it for free. I declined. I had plans to donate that to the museum. She didn't want to play with me anymore after that. I found the money rock and actually did way better this time. There was a new villager, Cookie, the cute pink dog. I let myself in to meet them. I really liked the setup of their log cabin here. Used my new axe to cut down a tree right next to the glowing spot in the ground, and I dug up 10,000 bells. I didn't even realize it could be that much. I thought it was always 1,000. I decided to try my luck and bury that 10,000 right back in. Hopefully it grows and I can reap the benefits. 30,000 bells would be huge. Did a bunch of fishing to try and get as much money as possible for tomorrow to spend on turnips. Check out how lucky I got this run here. Got a bunch of red snappers and a barred knife jaw. I couldn't forget about KK's performance tonight. He played KK Etude and gave me his mixtape afterward too. Bright and early Sunday morning, I tracked down Joan to buy some turnips. I don't remember what exactly a good price is for them, but we'll wing it. Her price today was 122 bells per turnip, and I feel like that isn't a great price if my memory is correct. I spent a lot of time getting bells for this too. Ultimately, decided to buy 300 of them. While that isn't all of my money, it's still a pretty penny. Hopefully throughout the week, sometime I can sell for a profit. My golden shovel is finally ripe, and I shook it out of the tree. I always hated how it's not fully golden, and there's a hint of silver at the front, but whatever. Caught a cute little crawfish in the pond next to the post office, and found a nice rocking chair in the dump. Monique asked me when my birthday was. I told her July 15th. That's not my real birthday, but for the sake of this video, I figured why not. Paid another visit to Goldie, and I convinced her to play that game with me now in exchange for my rocking chair. I won. I spent some time writing letters to a bunch of my villagers and sent each with a gift. I'm hoping they'll write back with something good. Ideally a new fruit. I made sure to spell everything correctly and sound friendly, because I know these villagers are surprisingly picky about grammar. The shop was closed for repairs today, so that really sucks, because that's one less day to try and sell the turnips before they go bad. I found golf. I thought this was just going to be like golf clubs or something, but no, it is the NES game. It's really cool how they have NES games that you can just play in entirety. In my childhood town, I had Balloon Fight, and that one was awesome. I saw a present being carried by a balloon. I didn't realize that these were introduced in this game because there's no slingshot, so I wasn't sure how to get it. Eventually, it landed in a tree and I shook it out. It had an apple. That's so lucky. I'll try to plant this and grow a bunch. Back at home, I set up golf and started playing on this rainy day. I like how I'm playing as Mario here, I think, or it just vaguely looks like him. I don't know anything about golf, so I wasn't sure what club I should be using, and there was a lot. Once I figured it out, it was simple enough, but still hard. I got +8 on hole 1. Not exactly Tiger Woods, but I'll get there. First things first, I've been dying to check the tournament prices out of fear that I wasted a lot of money. Holy shit, 976 bells. They're going for 976 bells. That's completely insane. This was the first day I could even sell, and it's this much. This is the equivalent of winning the lottery. Wish I bought more, actually. So I cashed them in for 293,000 bells. That's more money than I've ever seen in this game. I nearly couldn't carry it all. Also, today is the grand reveal of Nook's upgraded shop, Nook & Go. He's got a snazzy new uniform, and the whole place feels like a proper convenience store now. I cleared out a spot to plant that apple I got yesterday. Fingers crossed it grows so I can start a whole orchard. My money tree successfully grew, so I pocketed the 30,000 and added it to the rest. And then used it to pay off my loan in full. I only had it for 2 days or so, didn't expect to pay it off so soon, and I still have plenty of money to spare. If I'd gone all in on the turnips, I probably could have funded every home upgrade for the rest of the game. Afterwards, found this new villager too, Bill. I like this guy. As if today wasn't eventful enough, while fishing, I found Gulliver washed up along the beach, and Katrina's tent right beside him. Growing up, I thought he was one of, if not the coolest NPC in the game, bar none. He had given me the Statue of Liberty that I thought was sick. Today, though, he gave me the Mouth of Truth. Whatever that is. I ended the day talking to Tom and taking out another loan, this time for a basement. Nook & Go is closed today for remodeling, again. We only got 1 day with it before Tom decided it needed another upgrade. Some villagers finally wrote back to my letters, and not a single one appreciated the heartfelt words or gifts that I sent. Honestly, I thought I was being pretty clear. I did find an ugly shirt at the dump, and it was ugly, so I see why it was thrown out. The Lost and Found had an amazing painting. Hopefully it's real so I can donate it to the museum. Otherwise, it's going straight to my new basement. Met Grizzly for the first time and checked out his house. Looked pretty much what I would have expected his house to look like. Felt like my house needed a little sprucing up, so I rearranged some furniture. The basement is currently a landfill of random junk, but I pulled out the painting I found yesterday. Looked real enough to me, and it was. Blathers confirmed it. And now every part of the museum has at least one donation. Today was the grand opening of Nookway. My new loan was only 50,000 bells, and I still have way more than that from when I struck gold with the turnips. So I immediately decided to just go ahead and pay that off too. I wanted to make a pear orchard, so I cleared a nice area for them outside of the post office and got stung by bees in the process. I have way more space now, especially compared to its initial size. Met a new villager, Paolo. His house was interesting. Gonna be honest, any grown man with a house like this might need to go on some kind of watch list or something. Just keep an eye on him. The new loan is 400,000 bells, so it's back to the drawing board for making money. On the bright side, TomNook was selling a perfect painting, which I bought immediately. If it's real, I think I've already donated more paintings to the museum than I ever did in my entire childhood playthrough. He also had the GameCube logo for sale, and of course I bought that too. Okay, so now I'll try and save money. Bill posted that he buried something for someone to find. I dug it up, a hi-fi stereo. Hopefully it still works after spending who knows how long underground. I've been wanting to change my town theme or tune for a bit now. Here it is. I was messing around with it myself for a bit and was curious to see what other people have come up with for it. And people have made a lot. I found this game fact from 2003 with over 600 songs on it. I love finding ancient websites or forums like this that haven't been updated in years, or in this one's case, over 2 decades. I always think about what the person who created this is doing now, or if they're even still alive. Anyway, I took one from this page. It's supposed to be the Delfino Plaza theme from Super Mario Sunshine, and I think it sounds close enough. Biddy took it upon herself to paint my roof a verdant green. Can't really imagine just walking up to a neighbor's house and repainting it because I think it would look better. But, you know, sure, whatever. Allie moved in right near my house and made fun of me, so I'm glad the villagers are back to doing that. The apples grew on the tree successfully. About time. I planted the 3 new ones too. Turns out the GameCube logo isn't as rare as I thought. TomNook had another one for sale. Later, I stumbled upon a red convertible parked in town. Turns out it belonged to none other than Gracie, the legendary fashion designer. She pretty much demanded I wash her car, and fast. I pressed A as fast as I could, and apparently it met her standards. To thank me for my hard work, she gave me a grass shirt. It's certainly a unique shirt, it just blends into the grass background. There was a camper in town, Otis. He wanted to play a game for all of my money. To recap, I have 60,000 bells in my pocket right now, with the rest being in my basement. Feeling lucky, I went for it. I lost. 60K down the drain. He gave me a classic wallpaper as a consolation prize. I'm sure that's worth about the same. To drown out my sorrows, I visited KK. He played KK Parade. It's Sunday morning again, and I'm desperate to make that 60K and hopefully more back by gambling it in the stock market. I put on a new club shirt for luck with the clover and all. So I grabbed all of my money and emptied my inventory otherwise to go and find Joan. The asking price this week was 113 bells, so a little better than last week. I'm nearly going all in. I bought as many as my inventory can hold, and I'll just hope and pray that I hit the jackpot like last week. Realistically, if it's a little above what I paid, I'll probably sell, especially as the week goes on. In the meantime, I reorganized my house to make it a little more like a home instead of a warehouse. Here's the upstairs, and here is the basement. Oh, and here's the mouth of truth Gulliver gave me a few days ago. It's not creepy at all. It reminded me of that episode of Courage the Cowardly Dog where there was that weird glowing face in the basement. It used to really creep me out. Well, really, the entire show did. My pear orchard grew in, so to make some extra money, I could easily sell all of these. At the shop, he had a space shuttle that I bought to go with my asteroid and Luigi's clothes. I like when this game drops little references to other games. Today is my in-game birthday that I had told Monique. I got a few letters, some from villagers and one from my mom. She actually mailed me a cake. Like, a whole cake, through the postal system. Honestly, I could have done with a gift card or even just some cash. But yeah, sure, why not? The best thing I got though was the NES game Donkey Kong. Bill wanted me to give him a new line to get some girls, and I gave him the line, Sugar Lips. I mean, what girl wouldn't want to be called that? So far this week, I'm not having much luck with the turnip prices. 88 bells just ain't gonna cut it. But I did expand my apple orchard. The plan is to be able to fill an inventory at once to sell. Gulliver washed ashore again. Turns out he washes up once a week. He used to seem much more rare than that, but here he is. Today, he gave me a pagoda. Crazy Red brought his market to town. What the hell is that? Anyway, he had a few horribly expensive items for sale, and considering how the turnips are faring so far, I'm a little nervous to spend too much. But I ended up with this bonsai tree. Tortimer was out and about and asked me my opinion about placing a bridge. Yeah, sure, why not? Thought I'd finally introduce myself to the Able sisters, since I haven't even stepped inside here yet. Sable was a little busy to talk right now. This is one of the aspects of the game that I would always forget about. It's day 18 and we have some crazy news. The turnip price today is a whopping 904 bells. I hit the lottery twice now. I just can't believe it. I feel like this is too lucky. Like it's gonna seem like I cheated somehow to get these turnip prices. After this happened, I did scour the internet to see if there's some kind of turnip price mod or hack or something, but I can't even find that. This is just raw, insane luck. Now for the total payout. It's 1,275,000 bells. This is surely enough money to pay off the rest of my future loans. After years of playing as a kid, I never did it. And I did it here in 18 days. I wasn't expecting to get even close to this in the 30 days. Hell, I was hoping to get to having an attic after making all that turnip money the first time. It was actually so much money that I had to just start dropping $30,000 bags outside on the ground. Good thing Damascus is so safe. I wouldn't recommend trying this where you live. With all this money, I paid off my debt again and went on a bit of a shopping spree. He had a UFO and this big storefront. Will I place them in my house? Who knows, but I can afford it. The storefront would be a neat item to place outside if that was possible in this game. I literally just littered my floor with bags of bells so they didn't constantly fill my inventory. To commemorate this occasion, I wanted to design something at the Able Sisters shop. It's JD Vance. Well, kinda. This took way too long. And I might have messed it up a little, but it's close enough. Figure we'll place it right up here near the map, like a wanted poster. There's a useful tool online where you paste any image and it'll show you exactly how to make it in Animal Crossing. Well, here's the new attic, or second floor of my house. Pretty sweet. And the birthday cake I got from my mom in the mail. Still haven't eaten it. Cashmere showed up to camp here. Frankly, I'm not even interested in playing games anymore. I used my turnip money to pay my mortgage off. It was so much I had to make multiple trips. Tom said he'd build a statue in my honor. Knowing him, I'll probably have to pay for that too. So here is my glorious statue in front of town. Gonna need to clear some trees out of the way so everyone can appreciate it better. Now that I'm out of debt, I'm not so sure what to do with myself. So I wandered around, talked to some villagers, did some fishing. That's new, so I'll have to go donate that. And hunted some bugs. And you already know I had to get in on the turnip action again. A little bit at least. Couldn't resist. I bought 210 of them for 110 bells a pop. Nook was selling a TV and definitely had to buy that. I found a pitfall buried outside and laid a little trap for an unsuspecting victim. After a little gentle encouragement, they found it. They didn't say anything about it though, talking to them after. Finally tried Donkey Kong out. Turns out I'm kind of the goat here. Until level 2. Alright, I once again reorganized my house to make it a little bit more pleasant. The main floor is relatively similar, so is the basement, just neatened up. The second floor though is brand new. Looks pretty good. I went around town shaking trees to see if I could find anything. Found a lime chair, got stung by bees yet again, and then found a flamingo. And that's enough for now. There was this starving walrus in town, Wendell. I gave him a fish to eat. In return, he gave me some wallpaper. And honestly, it looks pretty good, I think. So, a good trade all things considered. TomNook somehow got his paws on the Master Sword. I don't know where he's sourcing this stuff, but obviously I had to buy it. Despite what I think, the HRA clearly doesn't like my house as much as I do. Apparently, I live like an animal. Kind of rude considering I live in a town of literal animals. To make things worse, my mom randomly mailed me a letter calling me slow. Not sure why she sent this to me other than to be mean, but thanks. I also found out you can change the menu background of the shirt. That's sick. Now I have a bunch of fishies there. I woke up very early today. Right on time for aerobics led by Copper. I think this is the only time he steps away from the police station. Afterwards, I caught a giant stag beetle, which I think is pretty rare. When Nook's shop finally opened, he was selling the froggy chair. The one, the only. If you know anything about Animal Crossing, you know how legendary that chair is. People practically rioted when it wasn't in New Horizons until Nintendo patched it in. Anyway, now my house is officially a home. As we're nearing the end of the 30 days, I couldn't go without resetting the game once to meet Rossetti. No sign of his lesser-known cousin, Don, this time around at all though. Is it just me, or do I have a little bit of a tan going on? Neat, that is actually a feature in this game if you stay out in the sun for a little while. The first villager has moved out of Damascus. Allie is no longer with us, but forever in our hearts. Glad it wasn't one that I liked a little more. But we already have a replacement, Blair, so Allie is forgotten. This camel stopped in Damascus to sell rugs. Yeah, why not? I'll buy one. Okay, I have to trade her one and pay. Fine. When I came back to trade with her, she was nowhere to be found. Finally, I found her on the other side of the map somehow. I traded twice with her. First for the sandlot flooring, and then for office flooring. They're both alright. Something interesting about her is every subsequent sale with her, she doubles the price, and that's nuts. Today is Damascus Day, and Tortimer gave me Station Model 11 to celebrate. There's 15 total, so I can hopefully collect the whole set in 14 years or so. Gulliver was here again, and this time gave me a Chinese lion. I just caught a coelacanth, a super rare fish. I tried to sell it to Nook to see how much it goes for, and it's 15,000 bells. That's got to be one of the most expensive fish in this entire game. And that's it, 30 days of Animal Crossing on GameCube. But wait, as a little something extra, I wanted to do the lottery Tom has on the last day of every month. I stockpiled all of these tickets for this very moment. Got some good prizes, with a gnome, a samurai suit of armor, and Donkey Kong again. It only took me 9 tries to win all 3. What do I do with all these extra tickets now? And now, that's really it for 31 days of Animal Crossing. I only missed 2 fossils and caught and donated a good number of fish and bugs, and it feels pretty rewarding seeing the place fill up. Piece by piece, day by day, the town became more alive. Looking back over the past month, I realized this playthrough gave me a small window into why this series has stuck around for so long. It's not about winning or finishing everything as fast as possible. It's about the slow, everyday moments, watching villagers come and go, catching that one rare fish, decorating a house in ways that make sense only to you, or just showing up every day to see what's new. Animal Crossing isn't really a game you beat, it's a game you live in for a little while, and for 31 days, I did just that. Playing it again as an adult hit differently. As a kid, I never paid off all of my loans or thought much about long-term progress. It was just fun messing around in a little town that felt alive. But now, sticking with it day after day, I got to see how the game rewards patience in ways I didn't appreciate back then. It reminded me that slowing down can be just as satisfying as chasing big goals, both in games and maybe in life too. And that's a wrap. I plan to keep playing. Maybe I'll make an update one day so you can see how the town is coming along, and how I'm still getting bullied by cartoon animals. Thanks for watching.